circle could a circle skirt have if a circle skirt could have all the circles? Am I returning to the world of circle skirts in order to avoid having to work on more complex sewing projects? Maybe. But back when I made circle skirts for the first time, I did make a double circle skirt, so 720 degrees, and I recently started thinking, what about a triple? What about a quadruple? How many circles can you put together, and how much swoosh could you achieve? These are questions to which I need answers. Obviously, making a multiple circle skirt is gonna take a lot of fabric. I have a bunch of fat quarters, and I'm hoping that I can get a full circle out of each material and then put them together so that it's a cute, like, paneled, multi-fabric, but coordinated skirt. This doesn't really have to be something that I'm gonna wear consistently. This is really more of just a for the funsies of it experiment. The only thing is, I haven't actually used a fat quarter in a really long time, and I can't remember how much fabric it is or what size. I mean, it says what size on here, but you know, I can't visualize that. So there's a possibility that I won't even be able to get a short circle out of one of these, in which case either this video will no longer exist or I'll go dig through my fabric and find something else. Huzzah! Let's see how big this is. Oh, it's not very big. This is very small. I don't think that would cover my butt. In order for one of these fat quarters to work for this skirt, I would need the full length. We might be back to the drawing board here. I could do a quarter of a circle out of this, and I would have like a 16-inch skirt. That just means that out of this whole stack, I'm only getting 3 full circles, which isn't really much. None of these colors go together. So I either need to go raid my fabric stash or go back to the store. Like most embroiderers, I have a bunch of random cotton pieces in my stash, so I was hoping there would be enough in there to match up and give me the swoosh that I seek. But unfortunately, none of them really coordinated. So back to the store I went to stock up on way more fabric quarters. And this project is officially ridiculous. This was not really the plan, but then I didn't make a plan, so I can't really complain now, can I? I decided to go completely nuts and basically conform to my original hope, which was to make at least a 10 circles circle skirt. In order to do that, with each of these creating only a quarter of a circle, that's right, I needed 40 fabric quarters. So that is how many I now have. And my estimation is that I'll be able to get about 16 inches of length out of this. So it's gonna be a mini skirt, might possibly end up looking like a tutu. I do not yet have plans for the waistband, but yeah, that's a thing I'll figure out. So in order to get 10 circles to match my waist, because I don't want to put this on elastic and have it gathered, I want to have it on a normal waistband, my head is telling me that I just need to divide my waist measurement by 10 and then use that new measurement like it's a waist measurement and do the whole circle skirt calculation thing, like I'm making a skirt for someone with a waist that big. Then when I put all 10 of them together, it should add up to my full waist measurement. I do have a yard of fabric here that coordinates, but I decided not to use. But this is my emergency backup in case I need fabric for a waistband, because I don't know that I'll have enough out of any of these to actually make a waistband, or in case I need to add like one more quarter of a circle because the whole thing is too small. So this is my emergency fund. All right, so I'm gonna go do that mouth calculation, then we're gonna cut out a bunch of quarter circles. I'm measuring my low waist to give the length as much help as possible, and that's 35 inches. So each circle of this skirt should be made for a 3.5 inch waist. The radius of a 3.5 inch circle is like 0.5-ish inches, which is freaking tiny, so I figured I might as well go up to a 4-inch circle and do a 0.6 radius, just to be safe. This is actually really good news, as that gives me almost 18 inches of length instead of the 16 inches I thought I'd have. I arranged all the sections and pinned them together, which threw me a bit because the waist was about 4 times larger than I expected. But then, once I sewed together the first 20 pieces that will be the front half of the skirt, the waist was pretty much exactly half of my waist, so I guess we're all good? I then stitched the back section into 2 pieces of 10 panels each so I can put the zipper in the back and the pockets on the sides, and then it was time to figure out the waistband itself, or eat dinner, watch TV, and go to bed. I couldn't possibly just do a straight waistband in a solid color. Oh no, apparently I'm feeling extra. So I spent a quiet morning cutting out 1.5 inch wide strips of all the materials I used, which I then arranged into the same order as the skirt panels. I drafted a shaped and fitted waistband on the back of wrapping paper, which is another great hint from my seamstress master older sister Carrie, and then cut it out of plain teal backup fabric to see if it would fit before I risked it on the actual outer fabric. I think it'll work. I went ahead and cut out the pockets from this material as well. Must have pockets. After a bit of mindless scrolling through YouTube for a video to watch, it was time to tackle those strips of fabric. Hair's going up for this one. Upon using up all of the strips of fabric I had cut out, I realized that I had made almost 2 yards of this stripy new fabric, and I didn't want to waste any of it after all that work, so here's where this project really went off the rails. I decided I'll make a dress. Yep, that means it's waistband no more, now it's a full bodice. The only problem is, I don't have any patterns of this style to follow, so I'm just gonna have to draft it myself, which I've never done before. I have all these plans for making dresses without patterns, and they're all like loose, comfy, knit sack dresses, not a fitted, non-stretch, 10-piece bodice construction. Why am I like this? And y'all, it was a process, and one I did not film very much of because I needed to focus, but I did it. I drafted and constructed a bodice. I shan't go into great detail because this isn't a tutorial, and also I'm not entirely sure what I did. You know that phrase, throw everything at the wall and see what sticks, or something like that? Well, that is a great description of how I made this entire thing. I was constantly surprised when seams lined up and things fit. Not that they always did. I'll be honest, I was a little giddy with excitement when it worked. Day 2 of this project saw the bodice lining finished, and day 3 was all about getting the outer bodice made, which meant finally cutting into all that fabric I had just spent half a day sewing together. I was quite nervous about it, but all my pattern pieces fit on there and I didn't mess up too much. I messed up just enough, as always.
I started with the straps since those seemed easiest, and they were. Then came sewing the pieces of the bodice together. Not much trouble there either. Attaching the lining to the outer bodice with the straps inserted was a little more complex. But I ended up with a decent looking lined bodice, and I'm just still flabbergasted that this worked at all. Next, I attached the outer waistbands to the skirt. They don't perfectly match up to the panels, which I expected and was okay with, but the first time I attached the front piece, I stitched all the way from the left to the right, and that made it massively off right in the middle front. I should have stitched from the middle outwards, and after debating how much I cared for quite a while, I decided I cared a lot, seam ripped the whole thing off, and redid it. Once I had the waistband attached to the 3 pieces, I could finally put them together into one big piece with the pockets on the side seams. And let me tell you, I finally figured out how to properly put in pockets on the giant skirt that's so freaking full that you will never be able to find, much less see, the pockets. Still happy about it. At last, I was faced with the scary task of attaching the bodice to the skirt to officially make it a dress. By this point, I was so freaking hungry and I had a splitting headache, so I decided to call it a night, but not before employing Matt, who was coincidentally having a rare night off, to help me figure out the fit in the back and where the zipper should go. I'm honestly not sure what I would have done if he wasn't there. I'm going to have to find room for a dress form soon. Day 4 of this insane project began with a zipper, my favorite. Only I guess I'm not being sarcastic this time because I got this invisible zipper in cleanly on the first try, put the dress on, and y'all, it fit. Like a glove. I am still in disbelief about this. I even figured out how to cover the zipper with the lining on the inside and have a clean top and edges to it, which required a buttload of hand stitching because I was not about to risk the machine when I was not entirely sure how I got it to look like this in the first place. Ta-da! And with that, it was time for the hem. Oh, the hem. By my rough calculations, the hem of this dress is 1,120 inches long, or over 90 feet. 90 feet. What? I already went through an entire spool of thread on this dress. It ran out around the point of attaching the bodice to the skirt, and this hem almost ran me through another. So I only turned up the hem once, rather than the traditional twice. Still took me an hour and a half to sew. Y'all, this was supposed to be a goof of a project. I thought, it'll take me a day. maybe a day and a half because of all that hemming. And then at every step along the way, I just made it more complicated. And I am so glad I did. I, honest to God, never would have thought I could make a full-on dress, draft and construct a bodice like this from scratch, no pattern, at this point in my sewing journey. This kind of project was not on my radar. I mean, overall, the dress is still like a little bit over the top. It also slightly reminds me of like lederhosen. It feels a little bit like circusy or costumey when I wear it, but at the same time, it's also just so fun and so swooshy. I'm still debating right now if realistically I'm ever going to wear this dress in public. I might. But regardless of how much wear this gets or doesn't get, this was so incredibly worth it. It goes way beyond the fun question of how many circle skirts can I stick together. At some points I kind of forgot that like that was the whole original point of this project. Which, by the way, I must say, if you can afford the fabric, stick 10 circle skirts together. It feels amazing. Even this short, it is so much fun. So I can only imagine, oh God, I can really only imagine because the amount of fabric, if you did this ball gown length. First of all, it would be so heavy. This is already a pretty heavy dress for how small it is. And if the hem is 90 feet long right now, it would be insanity. And then to switch back to what was not the main point of this video, but happened anyway, I don't know, I guess all I can say is just freaking go for it. If you have an idea and you think, I'm not there yet, I don't think I could do that yet, I need to wait on that for a while, I'll put that on my to-do list for like 5 years from now, maybe you can do it right now. Yeah, that's what I leave you with today. Try it. And I am gonna go clean up this living room that has been a disaster zone for 4 straight days.